80s drug dealer watches. But this one's cool.
So what does something like that cost?
Mid-high 30s.
These are really cool watches. Actually very, very good condition.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are once again in Miami in the downtown Diamond District to visit our good friend Watch Eric to check out a couple cool watches that we bought together, some really rare and interesting stuff, and just catch up with it. Follow me. All right, so you got some cool watches to show me?
Yeah. All right, let me see that. What you have on?
See that one first.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's actually really cool. It's funny because these watches no one used to care about, and now all of a sudden everybody cares about them. You know who designed these? Right before the Royal Oak and the Nautilus, there was the Rolex King Midas. Gerald Gent designed these. Named King Midas because everything Midas turns touch to gold. And if you put it on its side like this, it has a little lift like a pyramid here to modeled after like the Greek pantheon. So the very first version, King Midas on the side, Midas on the dial. All the numbers on these are on the back. So the numbers,
Safe clean.
3580 on the back, that's the reference number. Below it is the serial number, 3.4, so it's early 70s, like 1971. Number 923, so it's the 923rd one ever made. I had number 222 recently, it's actually really cool. But these are really cool. It's funny because like everybody used to think these were like 80s drug dealer watches. Right? Like you could see like Tony Montana wearing this, like,
or the guys from the movie Casino.
But like now they've gotten really popular. People are looking for things that are different, and everything obviously Genta designed is a big deal. So people are like flocking to these, and they're fetching good prices. The one we bought still has the King Midas on the side. Doesn't look like it's been polished. Really sharp edges, which is awesome because I just had one that was.
It looked really good.
Yeah, I just had one that was polished and like the edges are worn down. Like even see the lines in the gold. Like that looks factory. I mean, there's scuffs all over the case. Very light, but you know, it's an original example. Really nice watch, man. I think we did well buying this. And yeah, key thing on these is bracelet being long enough because good luck finding links.
I felt that it was big.
No, it's big.
Yeah. How do you size that watch? The watchmaker has.
You have to take it to a jeweler. Yeah.
Okay.
But look at that. I mean, we're gonna do well with this. Really, really cool watch. And then the second one, for me, even a little bit more interesting. So this is a later gen. So it's actually like a third gen. Yeah. So the first two gens were this case style, and then later these, as the Cellini line evolved, they made a more symmetrical case from like 1975 to like 1980 or something like that. After this, so this is early 70s. This is late 70s. But this one's cool. By the way, again, all the numbers visible on the back, which is a big thing because when these got polished, these serial and reference numbers got worn down. So this one is a 4.2 serial, so not much longer after that, like 1975, a few years later, number 3,776. So they made them in the thousands, but they changed the variants. You know, some had, diamonds in the lug, some had different dials. This one, the cool thing about this one is it has a very interesting dial. It has a stone tiger eye dial.
Yeah.
Everything stone dial right now is very, very hot and no one used to care about these things 10 years ago, but now people are looking for something different, unique, rare, and the stone dial stuff is rare. The key part of the stone dials is making sure that these stones have zero cracks, which we talked about on the phone.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Yeah, at first glance, no cracks. Very nice. These crack very easily. All the stone dials crack very easily. Same thing with Stella dials. So the thing with these dials is instead of being like gilt dials where it's like a layer, these are just printed on top. So they use like this silver script or a gilt script. So it's like a sandy looking print.
Okay.
So it smudged very easily.
Okay.
Because it wasn't super crisp, and you're doing it on top of a stone too, which is not a usual surface. Like this is more of just like a rougher surface, so the print's gonna stay crisper. This is a more smooth, lacquered surface.
So when you asked me if it had the Swiss, what you wanted to know was what? If it was original?
Well, no, I could tell the dial was original by the Rolex and the Midas. It was more of just had it worn off, because that's going to affect the price.
Got it.
But again, also really sharp case. Whoever had these, throughout the years, both these watches have been taken very well care of. You can see, I don't know if you guys can catch on camera, the hallmarks in the back of the case. It's still super crisp. If this was polished, those would be the first to be gone because they're very, very thick.
Fire recently because I want to say like The Weeknd or like Rihanna or something. Elvis used to wear that.
And so look, a client of mine out of the country came in and said, look, these were my dad's watches and I'm thinking about selling them.
Right.
So whenever somebody comes and tells me that they want to sell their dad's watches,
first thing, are you sure?
Yeah. Because the ethic in me has to say that.
Yeah.
There's other people that are just like, which, that's their prerogative too, would just be like, okay, how much? They just want to get the watch. And I also don't know what type of relationship everybody had with their father. I had a good relationship with my father, so it'd be hard for me to sell something.
Yeah.
But he sat there and I heard him out. He goes, look, I have a whole bunch of other watches that are his.
Right.
I said, okay. And he goes, these are just going to sit in the safe.
So
I'm never going to wear them.
We just went through this not long ago with a local client also. He had a Patek Calatrava from his grandfather, and he was wrestling back and forth with selling it, but it was too small for him. He never wore it. And so we were talking a long time about it. And I was like, look, would your grandfather be happy if you sold that watch and bought a watch you really wanted? Use that
Exactly
money.
what I told.
And he was like, I think so, absolutely.
That's exactly what I
Listen, if you don't plan on passing it down to your kids, you think that he thinks you would be happier with a different watch, with the proceeds that you're actually going to use and enjoy and make memories with, then by all means do it, It's, you got to be okay with it, you as the seller, So I think you're right, though, and I think that was a smart question to ask. That's, I think, easier to wear.
Actually, this one's a lot cooler.
Well, you're because you have the tiger eye.
My thing about it too is I feel like that one doesn't go around the wrist as like tight as that one. Like it's almost like too wide. Where this one kind of fits like a bracelet almost. I like it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's like a piece of jewelry almost that has to also be a watch. I think that was the idea.
All right, so you're happy with the condition?
I'm very happy.
Did we do good?
I think we did well.
So tell me about this.
Rolex Explorer 2, reference 1655, sometimes referred to as the Steve McQueen, although Steve McQueen never wore that watch.
So why did they call it the Steve McQueen?
I don't know. I really don't know the origin of why people...
He never wore not one?
No, he wore 5512 Submariner. MK1, so...
I feel like I've been lied to my whole time.
The easiest way to tell an MK1 versus a non-MK1 is simply to look at the seconds hand. Seconds hand is straight, as opposed to having a lume dot at the bottom of it. Also the dial, the serial range, even the bracelet on this is dated. The MK1s were circa 1969 to like 1971, 72.
Right.
Fresh watch from South America, amazing condition, unpolished case, perfect dial, perfect bracelet, papers, box, everything. Really, like,
What does something like that cost?
mid-high 30s in this condition.
What about with the stamp?
The Tiffany stamp, good luck finding one.
I've seen them, but what do they cost?
Yeah, I had one 5 years ago. People still hit me up for my archive, like, hey, can you contact the owner of this watch and see if he'd sell it? I'd be like, guys, this is 5 years, 6 years ago.
You had to guess.
Back then I sold it.
Right now.
Back then I sold it for 45 grand. There was one that popped up in New York a few months ago. I was trying to buy it. He wanted 70 grand from me.
that.
He ended up taking 65 from another dealer who then sold it, I think, for 75.
I stopped getting excited about vintage watches until I hear the price.
Right. You know what the problem with vintages is that it's a lot harder for somebody to look up a price. Like if somebody has a Batgirl, whatever, they could go on Chrono 24 and get a rough idea of what it's worth. When somebody has like a fresh, nice vintage watch,
They go for the highest one.
they go. That's what they do. They go type in Rolex 1680, Submariner, and they look at the highest price and they start there.
Yeah, and then they don't realize that the highest one is that expensive because a particular detail that they don't realize
that expensive
that
because
theirs doesn't have, or the person is just wishing for that price.
that's generally what it is. People are just, hopes and prayers. And now it's like, well, we're at a place where like prices have gone up to the highest they've ever been, come down a little bit, stabilized. So for somebody entering the vintage space, like there's some new dealers out there who are in the vintage world who are doing a fantastic job. For example, there's a guy, Watch Brothers London in the UK, but he's specializing in like neo-vintage 90s, like Blancpain perpetual calendars, VC perpetual calendars, like oddball watches. There's guys like Guy Gohari in New York City who specializes in like funky Cartier from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and APs and stuff like that. I think you really have to carve out a niche for yourself. You can't just jump in and be like, I'm going to start buying Paul Newmans and sell them. It's like, well, what differentiates you from anybody else and what makes somebody confident enough to buy a watch like that from you? That's all.
Well, I think there's a lot more competition. There's a lot more people. I think there's a lot more people that still need to be tested.
Yeah. I've never personally cared about new dealers entering the fray. A lot of people, like a lot of old timers, are like, oh no, new dealers, bad, bad, bad. For me, it's just another person to do a deal with,
Yeah, but I'd rather do business with people that I already know. Does not mean that I won't do business with new people.
Sure.
But they need to stand out. How are they going to stand out? I don't know. That's up to them.
Right.
But they need to stand out. Either good personality, look legit, great prices. I don't know, something. They got to stand out.
Right.
Because for me to buy a watch from like a new guy in another state that I don't know, that wants to just use the word Mazal every 3 words, I'd rather just buy from one of my like regular guys.
It's so weird how the word Mazal has like risen in popularity in the past few years. Like it never used to be used, David, what do we got today?
What's going on? How are you? I talked to you about that a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's cool because it has the original strap, original buckle. It's really sharp, nice case, nice hallmark there. It's a really, really crisp example. It's not super, super, super desirable just because of the size, because it's like 32 millimeters, or even 30. But Roman numerals, really cool watch. Like, should be still worth like $5,000, you know, kind of thing. It's something clean and for the right price point for somebody to get an intro out of Patek. We bought this, right?
Yes, we bought this. We're gonna partner that. We also bought this.
So we have a original Kermit 16610 LV green bezel, the original anniversary Submariner, excellent condition. You can see how sharp the case is, unpolished. Original sticker on the back and box and papers. Yeah, I mean, for me, these are like infinitely cooler than the new version, the ceramic, just because it's the OG. They wear a little bit lighter, they're a little thinner. I just like the original version of something versus like a remake.
I thought of you immediately when I...
Yeah. What do you pound this at, 15?
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, whoever owned this kept it in really good condition. And I'll cut you a check in these two. Okay, all right, for half of them at least. All right, cool. Anything else cool? Let me take a look at the DD. Look up yellow.
This yellow date one? Yeah, it's a single quick, I think. Really nice condition. The 18038.
How much you asking for this?
Probably can do it for $12,500.
It's fair price.
So where you at something like that today? Just so.
Well, only because I have a couple of them in stock. Like, if I had zero in stock, like, your price is fair. Like, I can make $500, whatever. But since it's going to go like to the back of the pile, I think I literally have at least 2 or 3 of these. I would probably need to be at like 10, 5, 11. So yeah, I mean, dude, your price is fair though. I'm not like trying to knock you down. It's just that I have a few of them.
All right, guys, Jordan here. We had to leave Adam. He had some stuff he had to take care of in the Seabolt building, but we had to go run some errands at our good buddy Sonny's office. He wants to show us a watch, and he also has some stuff that he's repaired for us, so let's go pick it up.
Jordan, what's up, buddy?
What's
wait,
going on,
I
man?
have a watch to show you. The good old Omega Pro Prof. What do you think?
So these are really cool watches where Rolex was making Submariners to go deep sea diving. Omega was making, obviously, the Seamaster and the Seamaster Pro Prop. They're really, really cool watches. Omega still even makes them today. The modern edition. We've sold many of them. Very, very hard to work on. Very, very difficult to find parts on these. And this was actually in very, very good condition. So,
I think there's only one little chip on the crystal, but apart from that, I think everything else is good on this watch.
Yeah, because a lot of times where we see these watches, they're completely destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
This one's actually like a...
Not necessarily needed. That's why I said I was going to hold it. I'm like, going to show it to you because I know you have clientele for that stuff.
How much does it cost?
I got to find out. I don't know exact price yet.
I'm a buyer. High 6, 7, something like that.
I will confirm and then let you know.
Sonny.
So anyway, was nice
go.
to see you again. Back to the beach.
My truck.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Finishing up here in downtown Miami. Busy day, crazy day as usual. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. If you like our stuff, let us know. If you want to see more, give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you.